President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on Thursday, January 21, 2021, announced his selection to fill key ministerial positions in his government. The names of key sector nominees and regional ministers have been forwarded to Parliament for vetting and approval. Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta, former finance minister, has been named the finance minister designate, whilst Mr. Albert Kandapar retains his portfolio as the national security minister. Mr. Alan Kojo Chairmanton has also been kept at the trade and industry ministry. Dominic Nitiwo and Ambrose Derry will continue at the defense and interior ministries. Madam Shelia Yekoboche as foreign minister, Godfrey Dami being penned as Attorney General and Justice Minister respectively. The President has also nominated Mr. Dan Boche for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development Ministry. Mr. Osei Mensah Bonsu, Majority Leader in Parliament, has been designated Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, whilst Madam Isla Owusu Ekufo, the MP for Ablikuma West, has been called for the Communications and Digitalization Ministry. Dr. Owusu Afriyakuto returns to the Food and Agriculture Ministry, and the Member of Parliament for Menchia, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, will head to the Energy Ministry. Former Deputy Education Minister Dr. Yao Osei Edichum has been nominated to head that ministry. Mr. Kwikwajuman Menu has been maintained at the Health Ministry, and former Deputy Chief of Staff at the Presidency, Mr. Samuel Abdullahi Jinapo, goes to the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry. Mr. Kwesi Amwakwata stays at the Roads and Highways Ministry, while former Deputy Chief of Staff Mr. Francis Asenso Boache, who joined the 8th Parliament as the member for Bantama, goes to the Works and Housing Ministry. President Akufo-Addo has kept Kweku Ofori-Esiama back to the Transport Ministry and reassigned for Minister for Special Development Initiatives, Mavis Hawakumsen, to the Fisheries and Aquaculture Development Ministry. Mr. John Peter Amewu, the former Energy Minister, has been nominated Minister for Railways Development. Cecilia Benadapa retains her position at the Sanitation and Water Resources Ministry, and the former Business Development Minister, Dr. Awal Mohammed, has been sent to the Ministry for Tourism, Arts and Culture. Former Minister for Procurement, Sarah Joasafu, goes to the Gender, Children and Social Protection Ministry, and Ebenezer Kujokum, MP for Ahanta West, has been nominated as Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Minister designate. Dr. Kweku Afriye, former Minister of State at the Presidency, has been nominated for the Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation Ministry. The President has retained Ignatius Balfour-Ewa, MP for Sunyani West, and Mr. Kujo Ponkoma at the Employment and Labour Relations and Information Ministries, respectively. Mr. Mustafa Yusuf, MP for Yagaba-Kubori and former National Service Coordinator, has been nominated to head the Youth and Sports Ministry. Mr. Joseph Kujo, MP for Ifia constituency in the Western Region, has been nominated for the newly created Ministry for Public Enterprises. Madam Frida Prempeh, Tano North Legislator, has been nominated Minister of State for Works and Housing. For the regional government, President Akufo-Addo has nominated Mr. George Boache for the Ahafo region, retained Simon Osei Mensah for the Ashanti region, and named Justina Owusu-Banahene for the Bono region. Mr. Edujan has been called for the Bono East region, whilst Madam Justina Marigold Assan has been nominated for the Central region. Former MP for Mpraiso Sethe Champon has been nominated for the Eastern region, and Henry Korte, MP for Ayawaso Central and former Deputy National Security Minister, has been named as the Greater Accra Regional Minister designate. Mr. Shani Al-Hassan Shaibu, Mr. Yidani Zakaria and Mr. Joseph Makubu have been nominated as regional ministers designate for Northern, Northeast and Uti regions respectively. Mr. Saeed Muhazu Jibril goes to the Savannah, Mr. Stephen Yakubu to the Upper East and Dr. Hafiz bin Salih to the Upper West region. Dr. Archibald Yao-Lecha has been retained as the Volta Regional Minister. Mr. Kwabena Ochiri Mensah also stays as the Western Regional Minister, and Mr. Richard Obeng will go to the Western North region. The President has pruned his government from 126 ministers in his first term to 85 to reflect his resolve to have a leaner government in his second term. He has reduced the number of ministries from 36 to 28. He is yet to finish parliament with his nominees for deputy ministerial positions. The 2020 presidential candidate of the NDC, Mr. John Mahama, is asking the Supreme Court to pull all proceedings relating to the election petition on hold. The former president is at the Apex Court challenging the 2020 election results. The court on Wednesday ordered that Mr. Mahama's team files its witness statement by close of day on Thursday. Lead counsel for the petitioner, Chachu Chikata, informed the court they had filed an application urging the court to review its early decision that turned down a request to subject the EC chairperson to 12 questions. Mr. Mahama's lawyers have on Thursday morning filed another application. This time around, they are asking that the court holds our proceedings relating to the case till it determines their review application. The lawyers argue a serious miscarriage of justice will be occasioned if the court proceeds without a determination of the review application. This, they explain, will result in irreparable harm that cannot be remedied.
The World Health Organization (WHO) has called on African nations to boost their surveillance of the virus to detect any mutations that may occur. Daily new case numbers have now passed the peak of mid-July and are still rising. The WHO says cases in its Africa region, which includes Morocco, Tunisia, Libya, Sudan, Djibouti and Somalia, have been increasing since the middle of September. It adds that steeper increases have been observed since late November. The Africa Center for Disease Control, CDC, says that over the 4 weeks up to 10th January, apart from South Africa, there had been significant increases in new cases in both Egypt and Nigeria, up by an average of 30% and 25% respectively. In Nigeria, scientists have also identified a new variant of the virus, although they say there is currently no evidence to indicate it is contributing to increased transmission. However, cases in Nigeria have been on an upward trend since early December. There's been an average increase of 30% in weekly new cases and 35% in new deaths in South Africa over the 4 weeks up to 10th January, according to the Africa Centers for Disease Control. There's been concerns that infections are being driven in part by a new strain known as 501v2. Scientists are still studying this new variant, how it transmits and how it might behave in response to vaccines. Initial analysis indicates that the variant may spread more readily between people, according to the WHO. However, it doesn't appear to cause more serious illness. The South African variant has so far been reported in 2 other African countries, Botswana and Zambia, according to the African Centers for Disease Control. Western Cape, Eastern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng province were the areas most affected when the resurgence began in late November, before it spread in all 9 provinces. At the end of December, South Africa became the first country in Africa to record more than 1 million COVID cases. The authorities have announced new restrictions and closed land borders to most travelers until mid-February.